It is now right around 7:40 a.m. on Sunday, December 17th. I just made a pretty long video about how as soon as I woke up and sat up in bed about an hour ago at 6:40, the violent thug directly below in 76, who had been completely silent up until that point because I'd been sort of snoozing for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But as soon as I sat up, he started making violent pounding noises that were not happening before I sat up. And then they did not happen after I sat up, meaning that he was deliberately doing this as some sort of prison code to let me know that he has knowledge of what I do in the privacy of this unit. At the same time, as soon as I started scratching my eczema, because I have bad eczema on my skin, it itches. And you get it in like patches throughout your body. Anybody who's had eczema knows how itchy it can be. Whenever I itch my eczema in the privacy of this unit, the psychopath, sex offender, cyber criminal, and quote, surveillance expert of the Greenville group, they're obviously using her services. She suddenly starts using some type of remote controlled stun gun device that I've been mentioning for years now. And she starts literally tasering me or stun gunning me as I am scratching my skin. This has been going on for years. This isn't anything new. I've been reporting it in dozens of videos for the last 2 years at least, and it started happening at the end of 2017. So her use of that stun gun predates the presence of other psychotic, intrusive stalkers and thugs, such as the thug directly below in 76. He's only lived in Unit 76 since a year and a half, I would say. He was moved into Unit 76 sometime in the fall of 2021. I would know because that's when he started literally coming up to my door, violently pounding on it for absolutely no reason. Like he could hear me walking around and he'd get all violent and aggressive, start slamming rods and sticks against my door. When I would open the door, he would throw metal objects at my head. One time he yanked the phone out of my hand as I was trying to call 911 and ran off with it. This nut job is so mentally disturbed that he is apparently under some type of legal confinement to this building. He never leaves Unit 76. I've seen him going up and down the stairs a few times, but then he comes right back. And you can hear him making violent pounding noises in here. And those seem to be selective. They only happen when I do certain things, but not others. So he's not like just banging his head against the walls like a, super mentally disturbed nut job. No, he's like he's basically a stalker who uses some kind of surveillance-based knowledge of what I do to harass me when I do certain things in this unit, but not others. And at the same time, the sex offender and cyber criminal named Irrizary, who has been using a remote-controlled stun gun device on me for years. These are not science fiction idiots. If you can have a remote control for an electronic device such as a television that is way more complex than a stun gun is extremely simple. It's simply a device that emits a beam of some type of electronic output, right? And you can certainly remote control a stun gun if you can remote control a TV. And if you can remote control a rover on Mars, that is $1 billion piece of technology. If we can put a remote controlled rover on Mars, then we can certainly have remote controlled stun guns. You can purchase remote controlled stun guns on commercial self-defense websites that also sell other interesting electronic devices, such as surveillance devices, such as regular tasers, such as other types of weaponry. All of which are perfectly legal, apparently. So now I have to call the Greenville group and tell them that while I've been sitting on this bed quietly minding my own business this morning, the violent thug who they continue to choose to house directly below in 76 has been making pounding noises whenever I have done anything on this bed that he has some kind of knowledge of. Obviously, because he's legally confined to his unit, he speaks to other people in prison code, right? He tries to communicate with what he perceives to be other prisoners in some type of violent code to let them know that he has knowledge of what they're doing in the privacy of their unit. So he only does this when I do certain things, but not others. And again, Irrizary, who up until a few days ago was filling my entire bathroom and kitchen area with intense and overpowering marijuana fumes and cigar fumes, miraculously has stopped filling my entire bathroom and kitchen area with fumes starting right around 4 days ago when the pest control team showed up. And that's when her nonstop smoking, suddenly just ended. So I don't know what the pest control team did in the bathroom of 78, or maybe they went into Unit 78, but she's no longer smoking in that area. But she has now once again started using the same remote controlled stun gun device on me while I do certain things in the privacy of this unit, but not others. One of the things that she has always stun gunned me when I started doing it in the privacy of this unit is scratching my eczema. She seems to have some kind of serious issue with me scratching my eczema. And every single time I start scratching my eczema when I'm just sitting here minding my own business, she literally goes to town with the stun gun. So let's call the Greenville group, because this is a breach of habitation. This also is extremely strongly suggestive of the surveillance devices that people keep telling me are in this unit. That's not just me. I've had coworkers at multiple companies tell me that they have knowledge of what I do in the privacy of this apartment. I mean, my sister has told me. I mean, everybody knows.
Hello, you've reached the Greenville Real Estate Group. Our office hours are from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our office is currently closed. If this is an emergency, please press 1. Otherwise, press 2 to leave a voicemail for the front office. After the tone, please leave a detailed message with your name and number so we may get back to you when we return.
Hi there. It's right around 7:45 a.m. on Sunday, December 17th, 2023. I'm calling from Unit 89 to report that the violent psychotic thug who you continue to choose to house in Unit 76, directly below my bed, started making repeated violent pounding noises directly below my bed about an hour ago. As soon as I sat up in bed and started showing that I was awake and moving around, I've reported on several dozen prior occasions that this psychotic thug in 76 deliberately lets me know in some type of violent pounding communication that he has knowledge of what I do when I'm on my bed, and he often starts violently pounding the walls beneath my bed as soon as I sit up in bed, even if I don't make any noise or use an alarm. I've been actually awake since about 6:15, but did not sit up in bed until about 6:40, and he was not making any sudden violent pounding noises while I was just lying there pretending to still be asleep. He only started violently pounding the walls beneath my bed as soon as I actually sat up and started scratching my eczema. And at the same time, your surveillance expert and sex offender and cybercriminal and psychopath named Jay Irrizary started using the same exact remote-controlled stun gun device on me while I was sitting here scratching my eczema and trying to drink my coffee silently, as she has been using since the end of 2017. These two mentally disturbed individuals are obviously housed in this building under the sponsorship of the Greenville group, but because they are so mentally disturbed, they also appear to be legally confined to their units or to this building and don't ever seem to leave unless it's for short periods of time. And what they do is they harass other tenants who they perceive to be more functional or less psychotic as themselves. And they also seem to be working in some sort of activist group kind of situation to try to harass me as much as they possibly can. This harassment, in part, is surveillance-based. I'd say it's mostly surveillance-based because everything that I keep reporting that they do, such as violently pounding the wall behind my toilet when I try to use it, somebody who's sitting in the bathroom 78 frequently, they like to smack the wall behind my toilet when I try to use it, or they like to smack the wall of my shower stall when I try to shower in that shower stall. That is all surveillance-based harassment that prevents me from being able to use the facilities of my bathroom when I need to. The two people who keep doing this are the violent thug directly below 76, who makes pounding noises below my unit when I do certain things in here, but not others, like trying to use a toilet or like sitting up in bed and scratching my eczema first thing in the morning. And he does that from below. But the psychotic sex offender and psychopath named Jasmine Irrizary, who used to live in Unit 78 for 9 of the last 10 years, somehow continues to access the premises of her former unit because it is still vacant and empty and has been for over a year. And then she becomes aggressive and intrusive against the walls of my bathroom, the walls, not the floor. So her agitation and aggression come from right against the wall behind my toilet or against my shower stall. And that has been going on throughout the morning. She started using some type of remote-controlled stun gun device right around 6:45 a.m., just shortly after the thug in 76 started making pounding noises. Ms. Irrizary resumed the use of her remote-controlled stun gun device and started literally stun gunning me as I was sitting in bed, scratching my eczema. That is the one thing that I do in the privacy of my unit that suddenly triggers her into using that stun gun device. I'd like to mention that there are no more fumes and odors of marijuana coming from the wall of the bathroom of 78. So that stopped happening. It's important to note that this is a legal situation, and the smoke and fumes were causing some severe breaches of habitation in this unit. 4 days ago, after the pest control inspectors left, that's when the nonstop marijuana smoke and fumes that had been coming from the bathroom of 78 suddenly stopped. So there's no more smoke and fumes coming from 78, but now the same person who had been smoking in or around the premises of her former unit, Unit 78, she has now resumed using a stun gun device on me while I do certain things in the privacy of this unit, but not others. According to Officer DeVega of the Boston Police Department, there is an activist group being sponsored by the Greenville group living in this building complex who are doing everything they can to make sure I don't live here. That is a direct quote from a Boston police officer who was having an honest conversation with me about why I keep getting aggressively harassed and stalked in this building, even though I just mind my own business and I deliberately avoid any kind of contact with these residents who often have some severe mental health issues and behavioral problems. If you have any questions, I can be reached at 617-459-0208. I am recording this voicemail for legal purposes. You might want to forward it to your legal team. This is a legal situation, and I have been told multiple times that there are surveillance devices in this unit, which, basically makes it not a private living space. It makes it a public forum, and it also makes it extremely unsafe because when people can see what you do in the privacy of your unit, obviously you're then a target for harassment, stalking, and assault. And as I have been reporting, I'm constantly getting aggressively harassed, stalked, and assaulted. And that's happening right now. Your psychotic sex offender named Jasmine Irrizary continues to use the same stun gunning device, remote capacity that she has been since 2017. These devices are commercially available. This isn't some sort of science fiction. A stun gun is a simple electronic device. So of course you can have a remote control for it, just like you can have a remote control for a TV or a sound system or a speaker, right? I mean, these are all more complex.
Hello, you've reached the Greenville Real Estate Group. Our office hours are from 9 to 5
Start all over again.
Friday. Our office is currently closed. If this is an emergency, please press 1. Otherwise, press 2 to leave a voicemail for the front.
Invalid input.
Oh, that's
Please try
interesting.
again. Invalid input. Please try again.
So now the cyber criminal and psychopath
Hello, you've reached the Greenville
named
Real
Jay
Estate
Irrizary
Group.
is
Our office
somehow
hours are from
tampering
9
with
to
my
5
phone or with the
Friday.
voicemail
Our
system.
office is currently
So I
closed.
can't leave a voicemail about her
Emergency, please
psychotic
press 1.
criminal activities.
Otherwise, press 2 to leave a voicemail for the front office.
Let's try this again.
No valid input.
Oh, see?
Disconnecting.
This is what I keep talking about, guys. She's also a hacker, so she can hack into phone systems and voicemail setups and prevent people from leaving messages about her nefarious criminal activities. This happens a lot when I try to call and report her psychotic behavior. All of a sudden, I can't leave a voicemail, or my phone doesn't work, right? Like it won't dial or record. I mean, it happens all the time. Let's start over.
Hello, you've reached the Greenville Real Estate Group. Our office hours. After the tone, please leave a detailed message with your name and number so we may get back to you when we return.
Hi there. It's right around 7:50 a.m. on Sunday, December 17th. I'm calling from Unit 89 to report some ongoing aggressive harassment and intrusive attention-seeking behavior from 2 of the registered sex offenders, psychopaths, and mentally disturbed nut jobs who you continue to choose to house in this building complex, in spite of multiple complaints about their aggressive, violent behavior, stalking, breaking and entering, theft, vandalism. You don't do anything about these psychotic career criminals, but you do go after tenants who are functional and who have to pay their rent out of pocket, presumably because you get less money from these tenants than you do from the mentally disturbed career criminals who you obviously get a lot of money from the government for housing, according to some of the housing agents from the housing court. Anyway, starting at 6:40 this morning, the violent thug directly below 76 suddenly started making violent pounding noises against the walls directly beneath my bed as soon as I sat up in bed and started basically just trying to wake up. I had been lying in bed since 6:15, but wasn't moving. But as soon as I started moving and sat up, that's when he got all violent and aggressive to let me know that he has some kind of knowledge of what I do in the privacy of this unit. He does this frequently when I happen to wake up. It doesn't matter what time of day. He does this when I sit up in bed at 11 a.m. or, at 6 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. Whenever I happen to sit up in bed and he has knowledge of that, he starts violently pounding the area beneath my bed. It's always the area beneath my bed. It's not somewhere else in the unit. That is his way of, letting me know in some type of prison code that he has knowledge of what I do in the privacy of this unit. About 10 minutes after I sat up in bed and the violent thug directly below started making pounding noises that did not occur before or after I sat up in bed, your resident surveillance expert, according to you guys, and cyber criminal, also according to you guys, and sex offender, according to the Boston, Massachusetts Sex Offender Registry, and psychotic stalker, according to the Boston Police, named Jasmine Irrizary. She started using some type of remote-controlled stun gun device and started literally stun gunning me as I sat in bed. And this has been going on nonstop for over an hour now. As I've reported in multiple prior voicemails and videos and notifications to the Greenville group, a remote-controlled stun gun device is a commercially available self-defense website. Commercially available device that is available on self-defense websites. You can buy them even on Amazon, I believe. And Ms. Irrizary, being a psychotic sex offender and mentally disturbed psychopath, has been using some type of device like that to taser me when I do certain things in the privacy of this unit, but not others. One of the things that I've reported that gets her triggered and all worked up and, using this tasering device repeatedly, nonstop, is when I pick my skin. So every time I pick my skin, she starts literally using this remote stun gun device, and it's been happening nonstop for the last hour now. It started about 10 minutes after the violent thug directly below in 76 started making pounding noises. Ms. Irrizary started using this remote-controlled stun gun device at the end of 2017, so her use of that stun gun device predates the presence of the thug directly below in 76. But again, according to Officer DV of the Boston Police Department, there is a group of activists, according to him, who are being sponsored by the Greenville group and who the Greenville group is housing in this building complex. And, quote, as he told me, they don't want you to live